Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. Okay, so it's getting late. It's after 6 o'clock, and I'm getting my videos done. This is my 5th video that I have filmed today. So I'm uploading my videos. I just did a review video over here, and I was going to do a booktube video as well, but I think I'm going to save it until tomorrow, and then just when I get done with this, get right into my vlog. Alex is upstairs resting with little Boo Radley. He got home about a half an hour ago. We're just going to hang out and relax tonight. So have a relaxing, nice evening. And I'm currently watching the first season of Survivor. So I'm real excited to get back to it and get it on. And get right. I'm like halfway in the season right now. So I'm going to watch the rest of it tonight. So I got the meditation books out here. I thought before I go into my vlog, let's take a moment. I just am heating up the Keurig in the kitchen so that I can make a little cup of coffee before I come out here to vlog. And I was like, okay, let's get a little relaxed. I brought the Melody Beatty books out with me. It's been a couple days since I filmed over here, so I thought, let's get into some meditations. Oh, it took me all the way to August. Today is June 10th. Let's see what is on the calendar for today. June 10th. Oh, yesterday's was really short. Yesterday's was about overspending and underspending. Okay. June, oh, this is in July. That was July 9th. I guess we'll get to that in July. That's why I need to have I just put my birthday. What does it say? God's will is on my birthday, June 29th. I need to straighten my hat. Okay, June 10th. I haven't read the ones from the last couple days. So, responsibility. June 9th is panic. Let's read about panic. That might be a good one. I can sometimes tell like where the pages lay, like if I've read them for a video before, and like look, this one doesn't feel like I've read it before in a video. Okay. Well, June 8th was fun, and then June 9th was panic. That's worrisome. Okay. June 9th, panic. This is from Codependent No More. Few situations, no matter how greatly they appear to demand it, can be bettered by us going berserk. Codependent No More. Don't panic. If a swimmer was crossing a great lake, then suddenly focused too heavily on the distance remaining, he might start to flounder and go under. Not because he couldn't swim, but because he became overwhelmed by panic. Panic, not the task, is the enemy. Wow. Many of us have moments when we feel crowded and overwhelmed. We have times when we feel like we cannot possibly accomplish all that needs to be done. We may be facing a task at work, an improvement in ourselves, or change in our family life. For a moment, it is helpful to look forward and envision the project. It is normal, when we look ahead at what needs to be done, to have moments of panic. Feel the fear, then let it go. Take our eyes off the future and the enormity of the task. If we have envisioned the goal, it will be ours. We do not have to do everything today or at once. It's a lesson I'm learning right now. Focus on today. Focus on the belief that all is well. All we need to do to reach our goal is to focus on what presents itself naturally and in an orderly way to us today. We shall be empowered to accomplish peacefully what we need to get where we want to be tomorrow. Panic will stop this process. Trust and guided action will further it. Breathe deeply, get peaceful, trust, act as guided. Today, we can get back on track by treading water until we regain our composure. Once we feel peaceful, we can begin swimming again with confidence. Keep the focus simple, on one stroke, one movement at a time. If we can make one movement, we have progressed. If we get tired, we can float, but only if we are relaxed. Before we know it, we shall reach the shore. Today I will believe that all is well. I am being led, but I shall only be led one day at a time. I will focus my energy on living this day to the best of my ability. If panic arises, I will stop all activity and deal with panic as a separate issue. This is such an interesting meditation. And kind of something that I have struggled with for a long time in my life, and people around me have struggled with for a long time in my life. You know, I've talked about this on here before, but I had a friend of mine and back in the day, and she used to catastrophize everything. I mean, everything, no matter like if, you know, an Amazon order wasn't going to get there on time, or she was running late to an appointment, or, you know, if it was a horrible medical diagnosis. I mean, everything was like a 9 out of 10, you know? I'm somebody that loves measurable goals. So I'll ask myself on a regular basis, like, okay, is this like on a serious level? Is this like a 10 or is this like a 1? Like 1 being not at all and 10 being like very, very serious. I do it when I review things on my review channel, you know? But I also love measurable things in life and looking at things, you know, in different ways. Like how much do I want to stress over this? And so I asked myself those questions, and I can remember saying that to her at the time and saying, you know, like everything you look at as like an 8, 9, or 10, not everything in your life can be an 8, 9, or 10, right? Like some of the things in your life are 1s or 2s or 4s or 5s, right? Like not everything is a catastrophe. And I think there have been periods in my life where I catastrophize everything, right? Like I'm constantly worried, blah, 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 whatever. I think I'm such a fixer in my life that when I am presented with a problem or a catastrophe to fix, I go into fixing mode. And I mean, this is something I've learned a lot in therapy, right? And through doing inventory, is that I go into this like fixing mode. So if like, you know, and I grew up in chaos, you know, having an alcoholic mother and just being bullied and things like that. There was so much in my youth going on that it was always hard for me to relax. I was never somebody that could I always had to be doing something. It was always a project. Reading a book or writing something or doing this, it was always a project. I was always kind of staying busy because if I was settled for a little bit and my mind was settled, like I didn't know what to do with that peace and serenity. For years, I mean, this isn't just as me as a kid. I mean, this is me until like 5 or 6 years ago. Probably 3 to 5 years ago. I really didn't know really how to be peaceful and serene. It was something I started working on probably 10 years ago, maybe 5 or 7 years ago is when I kind of like really started to get it. But I really didn't understand the necessity of peace and serenity in my life, and that not everything is a 9 or a 10. Not everything do I have to react to or even respond to today, tomorrow, or even a week from now. I can choose when I want to respond to something. You know, there are going to be things that happen that need our immediate attention. You're going to get that call, right? That is a 10. That is a 9. But if everything in your life, you look at it as 9s or 10s, then it's hard to differentiate. Then you're constantly living at that frenzied state of chaos, right? And I lived in that when I was growing up. And so for me, the opposite of chaos and frenzy and panic is peace and serenity. So it's hard for me to live in peace and serenity because I don't really know what to do with it. You know, I don't really know what to do with peace and serenity. It's taken me a couple years to get used to it, to the point where I'm very protective of my peace and my serenity today. And that's why, you know, I did a video the other day. Maybe it hasn't been that long since I filmed over here. I did a video the other day and I was talking about, you know, protecting our peace. And or maybe I was talking about this in my vlog, but what do we give our energy to? Like, it's a question I ask myself on a pretty regular basis these days. Like, am I willing to give this my energy? Am I willing to give this person my energy? Like, where am I surrounding myself with people that drain my energy? Am I surrounding myself with people that give me energy, right? Like, when I'm around them, I feel lifted up. I feel happy. I feel encouraged, right? Or motivated or inspired? Or am I spending my time with people that are just like, have you ever been with somebody that just like drains every bit of your energy? It's just like you're so tired when you get done with that lunch, you know? And so I've really been asking myself a lot lately. And those are fair boundaries for me to set. I can set boundaries and not go have lunch with somebody that drains my energy, you know? I have lived my life out of so much guilt and feeling like, well, you know, they asked me for lunch and I don't want to feel bad. And, you know, if you're like me, you've spent the majority of your life doing things because you felt bad, because you didn't want the other person to feel hurt, or you didn't want the other person to think one thing. And the reality is I figured out a long time ago is I do that because people did things to me that made my feelings hurt. People did things to me that made me feel a certain way. You know, that made me feel let down. The majority of the people out there don't really feel that way. I've learned that, right? Like if I don't go to a lunch, they don't really care. They just call the next person and ask them to lunch. And that's what I've learned, right? I have done so many things in my life. I mean, it would take notebooks to fill up the amount of things that I've done out of obligation, guilt, and feeling like I don't want to let somebody down, right? And I'm not talking about being there for a friend. I'm talking mostly about people that have really never been there for you, and you just bend over backwards and give them all your energy, right? And it's tiring. Today in my life, I ask myself, who and what am I giving my energy to? I'm only going to give my peace, my energy, my time to those things and those people who want it from me, and also that I feel like it's deserving of it. I'm not just giving it away that easily anymore. My life is too precious. Your life is too precious, you know? And so I think like this whole idea of panic is like giving our energy and catastrophizing situations that don't necessarily need it. There are going to be situations in our life that require panic, right? But in the majority of us, our lives, if we live to be 80, maybe 20 things in our life that might require total panic, or 30, unless we've had just absolutely devastating lives, right? But the majority of us, on a regular basis, don't have things that we need to be living in chaos or panic about. We just don't. So then it becomes a choice, right? Then it's a choice of, well, I'm choosing to live in panic today. I can't continue to do that, you know? I can't continue to live in panic and chaos. It wasn't enjoyable. It was draining of my energy. I was so tired all the time when I was growing up as a kid from living in this constant state of all of this. I wanted to what was this one thing that it said in here that I wanted to like reiterate? Hold on a second. Panic. Where is it in here? It says, we can get back on track by, if we get tired, we can flow, but only if we are relaxed. This is something that I had to learn, right? Like, I am not, like, I love the saying, because I got this on the back of my coin when I got out of treatment, that I can only be of value to others if I am first of value to myself. I can't accomplish much in my life if I am not relaxed and peaceful first. I cannot be there for somebody else and be a support system to my husband, to my family, and to my friends, even to my dog, if I am not peaceful and serene first. If I am panicking and living in chaos, then somebody has to settle my butt down before I can be there for somebody else. Or I have to settle my butt down before I can be there for somebody else, right? So part of me taking care of myself is not living in panic, not living in chaos, not catastrophizing things. And I want to make this very clear, right? Like, because I know that people will say, well, I've got so much going on, right? Like, I work 2 jobs, I have kids, my husband, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Having a lot of things and panic are 2 completely different things. Panic is a response to having a lot of things. But a lot of people in the world panic over not having a lot of things. That's just their go-to, right? I know a lot of people that have 4 kids, 2 jobs, a husband, do a lot of things in their free time, and they don't respond to things with chaos and panic. They respond to things peacefully and calm. Those are people that are inspiring to me, because I'm like, you got all that going on, and you're peaceful on top of that? Like, I need to learn from you, right? Because I got a lot less going on. So if I can learn from you, like, there are people out there that do that, right? It's not about how much you have going on or how much you can't handle, right? But speaking of that, I think that's a valuable lesson. This meditation kind of touched on this, that recently, you know, ever since I've gotten sober, I've always had this drive every single day to get like 100 things done. And I've realized, I mean, it took me a long time to realize I'm just not going to get those things done, you know? I'm just not. I would make a list and I would beat myself up because at the end of the day, I didn't get my list done. Today, I wanted to make a video on every one of my channels, you know? And so recently, you know, when I had pancreatitis and after the accident and stuff, I took time off from making videos. I took time off from vlogging. After that, especially last summer and fall, you know, I would like take a day off here or a day there. People would say, well, why don't you take a day off on the weekends and then just not film on Saturdays and Sundays, and then, you know, whatever, I would take a weekend off. And I did that, and I needed that for a while, right? Like, I needed to do that for a month or 2 or 3, right? Where I wasn't filming vlogs every day and all that kind of stuff. And what it really taught me was that I don't have to do all those things in a day, right? It's very similar to what I was sharing the other day about being with my husband, and we're not dependent on each other. We choose to be in each other's lives. So, I don't have to make all those videos. Like, nobody's going to be, you know, like, bad boy, because I didn't make 7 videos today. I'll post a video tomorrow. People will watch it. The people that want to watch it, you know? And I appreciate you guys watching my videos. But I don't have to make those videos. If I want to take 5 days off, people will watch my videos when I come back. I know that, right? So now, having gone through that, where I did take some time off, because it was real scary. I mean, it's kind of a joke in my videos now where I say, well, I wasn't going to film videos today, right? It's become kind of a joke. But it was real scary at first, because I was like, if I take a day or 2 or 3 off, people will forget, they won't watch my videos anymore. And I learned that that's just not true. That was what I was doing to myself. That was putting myself into this chaos panic mode, right? You got to get all this stuff done, you got to get all this stuff done. Now, today, when I film videos, I don't feel this urgency, like, if you don't do it, you're not crossing these things off on a list. I do it, and I feel like, oh my God, like, well, I want to film another video, or I want to do this, or I want to do that, right? And so it's totally taught me that I don't have to finish everything on my list, you know? The other day, I was going to make a bunch of videos, and I can't remember what happened, but like, oh, we went out to dinner, and I got this video up, and I was like trying to upload it, and it wasn't going to get in time for dinner, and I thought, well, I'll have a video for tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll just post this video. 5 years ago, I would have been like, oh my God, I'm not going to dinner. I'll meet you there. I'll take an Uber. I'm getting this video. I'm not doing that today. You know, I'm not missing out on parts of my life, you know? And it's not just with videos. It's with books and movies and things that I have, events that I have to go to and things like that, you know? I want to walk through life peaceful and serene and happy. You know, sobriety gives me the ability to be happy, joyous, and free. I want that peace and that serenity in everything that I do. There are things in my life that I have to do, you know? There are doctor's appointments that I have to go to. There are bills that I have to pay, right? But if those are 2 out of 10 things that I have to do in a day, let's say if I had a doctor's appointment and I had to pay some bills today, right? Those are 2 out of 10 things that I have to do. I can get those 2 things done. I don't have to get the rest of the things done. And there's, in the past, I would panic over all 10 of the things, right? Instead of just focusing on, well, those are the 2 things you have to do. The rest of it, if you get to it, that's great. You know? If you don't clean out the linen closet today, ain't nobody gonna come down hard on you, okay? It's not like the world's gonna end tomorrow because you didn't clean out the linen closet. The linen closet can wait till tomorrow, or the next day, or the next day. There are some things that can wait. Now I have lists of like goals for June, goals for 2024, right? I had all these goals for May of things I wanted to do. I got half of them accomplished. Half of them I didn't. I moved them to my list for June, you know? It's not that deep. I'm not going to live in this state of panic anymore. I'm just not. Because it took me so long to get out of that comfortability of living in chaos and panic. Because that's how I grew up. I was very comfortable in that, in high stress situations. So me going into that and wanting to like, well, how are we going to fix this? How are we going to solve this? Whatever. Like, that's natural for me. But I can't live like that anymore because I've been out of it for so long that I can't go back to that. And I don't want that for myself. And I don't want that for any of you out there either, you know? For me, today, it's about taking moments, even if it's just 3 or 4 minutes, and just relaxing and listening to the wind blow and talking to a neighbor, or laying down with my husband for 20 minutes, you know, and taking a nap with he and Boo and I mean, I take longer naps than that, but laying down there and talking to him, you know, and how's your day? And how's your day? And yeah, it was good, you know, and watching a show that makes me happy and things like that. Like, those things are all important to me today. Sometimes, for me, the most important moment of my day is sitting in absolute silence for 5 or 10 minutes max, and just realizing I'm just part of this universe. I'm not that big, I'm not that small, I'm just part of it. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.